And here is the one-man revolution, Tom Morello. How are you, man? Good to see you. Sounds right. How's things?
Things are very good.
Yeah?
Very good, yeah.
You've been really busy, man.
Yeah, it's been very busy.
I mean, there's a million things we can talk about with you, but you've got the solo record, Night Watchman. Night Watchman is kind of your alter ego?
Well, I mean, it was, I began about almost 5 years ago playing open mic nights in little coffee houses under that name so that people wouldn't, ask for a greatest hits set, as I was going out to play these new songs. But it was really, it was awesome. I was playing, going from playing these Audio Slave arena rock shows to playing in front of, 10 people in a latte machine, in these small places. But I developed a catalog of material that felt to me like it was as important to me as any music I'd ever been a part of, and I knew that one day I'd be making a record. That day has arrived.
Now, I mean, we've talked a couple of times over the years, and I know that you obviously have the spirit inside you. You like to sing, you like to be a part of songs that are about things, and I wondered if being on stage in Audio Slave, I've seen you play an Audio Slave, if you went, this isn't an activist rock band, if you were missing something.
Yeah, I definitely was missing something, and it was a way for me to kind of balance, it was always been important for me to have my political convictions interwoven with my vocation as a guitar player, Yeah. And so the Night Watchman was a great outlet for that. And for the first couple of years, it was really a sidebar. And I started playing, these really small shows, and then playing for union rallies and activist causes and protest marches and peace rallies and things like that, and logged hundreds and hundreds of shows and was tear gassed countless times. And I thought, well, the more I'm tear gassed, the more I know I'm doing the right thing. So I better keep up with it.
Certainly. When was the first time when you were a kid when you thought, I think this is where I'm going? Because you could have taken a much easier path, and not go through the tear gas part.
Yeah.
But when did you realize that this was going to happen?
Well, I mean, I started my political convictions and my musical convictions kind of came together by the time I was 16 or 17 years old, and I was writing for an underground paper at my local high school at the same time I formed my first punk rock band, and was very energized by groups like The Clash and Joe Strummer in particular, and the way that, music could be. It was like, until that time I was a big fan of heavy metal music. And then when I discovered The Clash, it was like, well, here's music that's about things I care about, yet it's as powerful as anything I've ever heard before.
Where did the caring come from?
I don't know. I mean, people sometimes ask, like, how did you get politicized? I was the only black kid in an all-white town growing up. Then I was the only anarchist at a conservative high school. Then I was the only rock and roll guitar player at Harvard University. And then I was the only Harvard grad in an underground Hollywood rock and roll band. So while I've always, sort of believed in solidarity, I've always been a one-man revolution.
There you go. Well, I was looking up the Rage Against the Machine stuff on YouTube, and it was all cell phone footage from Coachella.
Yeah.
And it was the reunion that I interviewed Chuck D just after Rage broke up, and Chuck said, "Don't worry, man, they'll get back together."
Yeah.
And that was a bad impersonation, regardless.
It was a horrendous impersonation.
But hey, he's like, they'll get back together. And I thought, all right, well, we'll see. And it took an awful long time.
Yeah.
But but it's that merging of political, I guess, ideals and rock and roll for most kids. That's your band was when they first saw that. So when you got on stage that first time again with Rage, what was that like?
Well, I mean, the exact number of years that Rage Against the Machine was away were the exact number of years that the Bush administration was ruining the country and despoiling the world. So we thought we'd better come back and put a stop to that somewhere. So decided to do it at Coachella. But it was very exciting, to play, as a fan too, not even as the guitar player of the band, just to hear the four dudes in Rage Against the Machine playing Rage Against the Machine songs was pretty exciting. The crowd was nuts. I mean, I've played a lot of rock shows and I've seen a lot of rock shows. I've never seen an audience like that.
When you guys went away, I mean, the world was in a much different state than it is today.
Yeah. Like, we were a band that complained about the Clinton administration. Like, what? Like, what were we thinking? But it has really, it occurred to me over the course of the last year or so that I really wanted to be exclusively involved in music that reflected my point of view, and that's why I was open to doing the Rage reunion, and that's why I started, going headlong into doing the Night Watchman songs and making this record.
Did you enjoy your time in Audio Slave?
Oh yeah, very much. Yeah. It was awesome. It was great. It was great. Both as friends and musically, it was. I mean, it was really. I think that we really, in a way, we saved each other. Like we were. Both sort of personally and musically, it came at, like, when Rage broke up, there were, people at our record company suggested that we become Macy Gray's backup band, Tim and Brad and I.
Come on,
like,
you're kidding
yes,
me.
no, I'm serious. Like, they're like, here's something you could do, and we're like, just chill, let us figure it out.
Oh, get out of your record deal.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it was just I think some people were sort of no disrespect to Macy Gray, but like some people were sort of selling us short as to what we were going to become, and I think that in hooking up with Chris, we made great records together, had a great time doing it, and developed great friendships, and each band has a certain amount of rock power you know, in their gas tank, and that rock power expired. But it's opened the door to, you know, for me to make this record, and this is music. This Night Watchman music it matters to me as much as anything I've ever been a part of, and it's really, even though it's not Walls of Marshall Stacks, I think it's in some ways the heaviest record that I've ever made.
And I would argue that it's your most vulnerable too, in the sense that you let people listen to what you say, and you let people listen to the way you say it, and you kind of, it's almost like in certain songs in here, you don't have answers as much as you're sort of learning your own issues at the same time.
Yeah, I think there's an honesty in the record. You know, it's interwoven with personal experience, and just and I think that when, you know, for my favorite lyricists, whether what people like Joe Strummer or Chuck D or Woody Guthrie or Bob Dylan, I think there's an openness and a vulnerability that helps people, you know, see the truth in what it is that you're doing.
Did you have to learn that as a man? Because, you know, when you first start in rock and roll, you know, especially dudes, there's not a lot of room for openness and vulnerability.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the way that I wrote these songs was I just had the antenna up, and whatever came down, came down. And some, like for example, in the song One Man Revolution.